Hello, I hope you are doing well. My name is Jacqueline Vino from Galasso Learning Solutions, and welcome to the Genuine Learning blog. Today we are going to cover two reports that recently came out, one from the Financial Accounting Foundation, or the FAF, who is responsible for overseeing both the FASB and the GASB, and also the Private Company Council, or the PCC, and they advise the FASB on all things private companies, covering all those different private company accounting matters. These reports detail lots of different things, recent achievements, stakeholder outreach, what are their strategic plans, all very important topics. We have a lot to get through during this blog together, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. And we are actually going to start out with the FAF annual report, and then we will transition and discuss the PCC annual report after that. So as you can see here, this report is formally titled Standards That Work, Stakeholder Engagement, and this was released by the FAF on April 16th of 2025. And essentially what it does is it provides a really nice overview of the organization's activities throughout 2024. So it showcases how the FASB and the GASB engage with multiple stakeholder groups to create and improve GAAP. What are some of the other key items that we can see here in the annual report? There are actually many different letters from the leaders of the FAF, from the FASB, from the GASB, so there are actual real letters written by them in this report. There are also lots of snapshots on how teams keep stakeholder engagement at the core of all of their activities. It also highlights the 2024 FASB and GASB standards that were issued, as well as exposure drafts that came out during the year, and it even includes, if you flip all the way to the back, a 2024 MD&A and also their audited financial statements. So definitely a very interesting report to look at, has lots of great information. One thing that the report really highlights, though, that I really appreciated were all of the statistics on stakeholder engagement. They were very proud to highlight that the FASB had reached more than 61,000 stakeholders in 2024, and the GASB reached more than 37,000 stakeholders as well. So they did a really, really great job with this. And the FAF reaches stakeholders through many different means, whether they're speaking at conferences, issuing invitations to comment, doing technical inquiries, doing surveys and roundtables, and also meetings with stakeholders. So while they were doing all of those things, that resulted in these really great statistics that we see right here. So they definitely have been effective in their efforts in the past year. In addition to that, though, the report also has a whole section on the FAF's strategic plan, and we are just going to quickly summarize what these goals are that we see here. The first one is to promote the importance of standard setting. That one definitely goes without saying. The FAF, in collaboration with the GASB, celebrated their 40th anniversary of GASB and their 50th anniversary of FASB and FAF. So these milestones definitely emphasize the crucial role of independent standard setting in ensuring clarity and consistency for investors, lenders, and capital markets. They also have ensure financial accounting and reporting standards advance. So they are trying to continue on with their goals. So the FAF trustees with the FASB, they basically reviewed the effectiveness of the FASB's Private Company Council, which we are about to discuss in a few moments. And they really affirmed in its success in advising the FASB on private company matters and making GAAP recommendations. The trustees essentially recommended that the PCC improve communication with stakeholders, which is something that we are definitely going to discuss. Another goal that they have is to leverage technology to enhance the standard setting process. So in 2024, the FAF initiated a project to assess the impact on artificial intelligence that it's going to have on the GASB, FASB, and FAF operations. This effort will hopefully guide the use of AI tools and capabilities to improve standard setting in the long term, because that is definitely one of their long-term goals that they have. They also want to build on their commitment to diversity. So they have updated some of their diversity goals, and they emphasize the importance of having those diverse perspectives in standard setting. Their efforts are going to include recruiting from a very diverse candidate pool, trying to launch a community hub for diversity initiatives, and partnering with different organizations to try to enhance inclusion. We have goal number 5 here, which is exhibit leadership in global financial reporting. So they are going to try to meet with the International Financial Reporting Standards Foundation to discuss any mutual topics and maybe the potential for convergence as well with international standards. And last but certainly not least, definitely a hot topic right now over the past couple of years, monitor developments in sustainability reporting. So they're going to continue doing that, looking at those sustainability reporting developments. While there's no definite consensus that has emerged as of yet, they are going to continue to consult with stakeholders and monitor that situation into 2025. So all of these wonderful goals that are within their strategic plan. They also have these other really wonderful sections where they highlight the accomplishments of the FASB and also the GASB. So let's take a look first at what they did at the FASB this year. So there is a whole section on this, and it shows all of the ASUs that were issued in 2024, such as DICE, and a post-implementation review of topic 606. So those are at the top part of the report. We can also see some of the invitations to comment that were issued in 2024, as well as the exposure drafts that were issued in 2024. I actually recently recorded a blog on the FASB's invitation to comment on financial KPIs. That is definitely a very interesting topic that they are trying to get more feedback on from the public and stakeholders. We can also see on the GASB side of the house all of the final pronouncements that were issued by the GASB in 2024, such as the financial reporting model improvements. That was definitely a big one, and also the disclosure of certain capital assets. In addition, we can also see the proposals and post-implementation review reports that were issued in 2024 as well. So these sections are definitely helpful areas in the FAF's annual report, because I think it just provides a really nice, just kind of quick snapshot of what each organization was able to accomplish in 2024. Alrighty, so that was the FAF annual report. Now we are going to transition and cover the PCC annual report. So let's take a look at what we have here. The PCC released its annual report on March 13th of this year. And fun fact, this is actually the first ever PCC annual report, so that is definitely very exciting. And it includes lots of wonderful content as well. We have a message from the PCC Chair. We have 2024 highlights and key progress areas. We have a section on prior accomplishments, and also a look at the strategy going forward, and a section on stakeholder engagement. So lots of very important information within this report as well. So what are the key areas of progress for the PCC? What they really wanted to highlight are the 4 key projects that came out from different town halls, liaison meetings, and other stakeholder input. So trying to emphasize how stakeholder input really does drive standard setting and how they advise the FASB on those standards. So the first one is definitely a big one, which is credit losses. So they proposed simplified guidance for short-term trade receivables to ease the application of CECL. Additionally, we have debt modifications and extinguishments. They researched the complexity and costs of current guidance to identify some possible improvements, again, trying to make the accounting easier for private organizations. Contract assets and liabilities for construction contracts. They also explored different ways to make financial statement presentation more useful for these private company users. And last but certainly not least, they also wanted to highlight lease accounting simplifications. They formed a working group to try to evaluate further simplification that is tailored to private organizations. So 4 key areas here that they were definitely excited about. So we are going to go over some examples really quick here. One of the primary purposes of the PCC is to advise the FASB on all things private companies. So we're going to take a look at some of the ways that they were able to do this in 2024. So the first one was that because of the PCC's work and their advice given to the FASB, private companies were actually excluded from DICE, which I am certain that private organizations are probably happy about and grateful for. So they also performed extensive research on profits interest awards, and they provided lots of different input to the FASB as well on many different projects. So on government grants and software costs, the agenda consultation that the FASB has issued, and also the financial KPIs project as well. So that is also an invitation to comment that they provided some wonderful insight on for sure. So in the report, the PCC also does note that they are going to continue to do the great work that they have been doing. They are going to continue their structured approach for evaluating agenda priorities. They are also going to review and prioritize private company financial reporting issues on an annual basis going forward, ensuring that their efforts are aligned with the very much evolving needs of private company stakeholders and focused in on identifying solutions and different alternatives for private organizations. And the last section of this report just shows their efforts with stakeholder engagement and how they are trying to improve stakeholder engagement going forward, but they do detail lots of different ways. So as we can see here, whether it's through presentations at state society conferences, articles and interviews that are done, town hall and liaison meetings, maybe it's digital media, they're trying to reach stakeholders and get the most input possible going forward. And that is all that we have today. Thank you so much for tuning into this blog. Once again, my name is Jacqueline Vino from Golosso Learning Solutions, and I hope to see you here again on a future blog. Thanks again, and have a great day.